Bugatti, Jaguar, Bentley, MG, Maserati. One of the finest car collections you'll ever see. I'm Paul Manette. Welcome to another edition of Cruisin' New England. Today we're in southern New Hampshire to meet up with Donald Coleman. He is the owner and founder of Competition Motors. He's also one of the leading restorers of the Bugatti automobile. And later on, we're going to have a look at his Bugattis and all his other classic vehicles. All this and more today on Cruisin' New England. All my life, I've been cruising New England, meeting great people, visiting amazing places, and discovering wonderful classic and custom car collections, nostalgic automobilia, and so much more. Come on and join our adventure. I'm Paul Manette. Let's go cruising.
Modern Auto Body restores and maintains some of the finest automobiles in the country. It doesn't cost any more to have the best for your family's car back to top condition. We deal with every insurance company, and Modern will even help with the paperwork. Our state-of-the-art technology can straighten a damaged frame to exact specifications. Modern's color matching system ensures a stunning paint job and an exact color match.
Modern was great to me.
I wouldn't go anywhere else.
See the difference. Modern Auto Body, Brockton.
Hi, I'm Jim Grundy, president of Grundy Worldwide Collector Car Insurance. We've been in the business of insuring collector cars since 1947, and we've learned that what collectors need is agreed value coverage at incredibly low rates. So for a legendary service, superior coverage, all at a substantial savings, call Grundy Worldwide or visit us online.
Cruisin' New England magazine. Plan your cruise and car show season. Subscribe today at cruisingnewengland.com or call 508-428-8055.
Intercity Lines Incorporated, America's premier enclosed auto transporter, providing enclosed transport throughout the United States. Call 800-221-3936 or visit us on the web. Find out what's happening. Get up-to-date information as I travel throughout New England and beyond. To get exclusive information and behind-the-scenes photos, join me on Facebook. Garage Storage Cabinets of Northern New England offers premier services in custom storage, organizer, and flooring systems for residential and light commercial spaces, specializing in garages, basements, and workrooms. If you are a discriminating person who views your garage or workspace as an extension of your home, you will be absolutely delighted with our products and individualized services. We are a New England family-owned and operated business, so take the next step. To schedule your in-home consultation and pricing, call us today. So I'm here today with Donald Coleman. He is the owner of Competition Motors here in southern New Hampshire. Donald, you have so many wonderful vehicles here, but this is the one I want to see. This is the one that I think everyone's going to get excited about learning about.
Well, this is the greatest car that we probably ever had in 25 years. This is a Type 51 Bugatti built in 1932 by the factory for the factory race team.
We'll talk more about Bugatti racing, but first I want to see more of your personal collection. So Donald, now you're going to show us one of your own Bugattis.
That's right. This is a Type 40 Bugatti. It's called a Grand Sport. As you can see, it's a little boat tail four-seater. It was a four-cylinder 1500cc engine, single overhead cam. And remembering at that time, you could buy the Bugatti chassis. Bugatti would point you towards a coach builder or have photographs in their sales room, and you could pick out any coachwork or any body that you wanted. This car is an immodest performing 94, 96 horsepower car, and it will spin the wheels and the shifts. It is so fast.
Can we have a look at that?
Sure can. And this is the interesting side, because this is where the supercharger is. You'll notice that the Type 40 engine has the typical Bugatti layout of four-cylinder cars and even eight-cylinder cars. It has a separate cam box, which is this wonderful architectural piece of sculptured aluminum, which carries the single overhead cam. And this is called the loaf of bread. That's the intake manifold. And right here, of course, is the supercharger that we've been speaking about. And in front of it is the transfer case and the gear reduction case for driving the supercharger. Motorboat racing, powerboat racing was very popular at the turn of the century and slightly after that too. So a lot of cars took the cues from the design of speedboats.
Is this a keeper for you? You're going to keep this in your collection?
Yes, I've had this for many years, and it's just a great all-round touring car, and I've done hill climbs in it. I've had it on the racetrack, but it's not really a race car, but it's just a great, overall, wonderful performance.
Now we're going to look at another Bugatti, a 1927.
This is a very interesting car. This represents what Bugatti did so much of. Bugatti built the chassis. It's a Type 44 chassis. The engine is a 3.3 liter overhead cam, 8-cylinder. They were considered by many Bugatti enthusiasts, the Type 44, to be probably one of the most reliable and the best of the single cam 8-cylinder Bugatti touring cars. And these cars would have a top speed of somewhere around 75, 78, 80 miles an hour. Now you'll see here what I describe as the typical Bugatti cam box, very architectural in looks, the top. And then another point of interest is the carburetor. Bugatti chose an American carburetor for this car. It's called the Chevla, for reliability and for the capacity of the engine. And these were very good, reliable touring cars.
So now we're in the garage of Competition Motors. And Don, you're going to show us what you got going on in here.
This is a 1926 Bugatti Type 40, similar to the one we looked at outside. It's getting the similar engine treatment by being supercharged. Obviously, it's a boat tail. The top of it looks like the planks on a ship or a speedboat. And that's the feeling that they wanted to give in this very much of an Art Deco period. This is one of the photographs showing all the line dimensions that Evan took before fabricating the new fenders. So what we did, and this gentleman right here, Evan did, drew out the dimensions on graph paper, made bucks to fabricate the fenders, and actually hand fabricated the fenders out of quite a few different pieces of sheet steel. And now they've been finished, and we're going along to fitting running boards, fitting a new internal firewall to it.
Still ahead on Cruisin' New England.
It's not what I would call a typical early motor vehicle.
When we come back, we're going to take this horseless carriage for a ride.
Experience McMulkin Chevrolet, one of the largest volume new and pre-owned Corvette dealers in the country.
I came here because I heard McMulkin has the largest selection of Corvettes in the Northeast.
I bought a ZR1 because I wanted the fastest production car out there.
McMulkin has one of the most extensive inventories of coupes and convertibles, available and ready for delivery.
The Taj Mahal of Chevy dealerships. If you haven't been around, you got to come and check this place out.
Make it the true American sports car, Corvette. McMulkin Chevrolet is your Corvette dealer.
Now you can watch Cruisin' New England television every day on our website television show. You'll see past episodes featuring automobile collections, memorabilia, automobilia, car show, and cruise night segments. Don't miss our visit with Hall of Fame drag racer Don Garlitz, a private showing of Bob Bear's world-class automobile collection, and watch for special segments, unseen footage, and so much more. Join us on our website television show at cruisingNewEngland.com.
Weddings, parties, classic car shows.
Gary James.
603-833-5292. 603-833-5292. Let Universal Vintage Tire be your source for collector vehicle tires and wheels. Lester, Dunlop, Firestone, and more. Universal Vintage Tire has a wide selection of bias ply and radial tires for your classic car or truck.
The Biggie. New England's Great State Fair. Coming fall 2011.
Intercity Lines Incorporated is America's premier enclosed auto transporter with service to all 48 states. Intercities features 53-foot air ride trailers equipped with lift gates for level loading of all vehicles. Intercities drivers are the most experienced in the auto transport business and treat each car as if it was their own. Intercity provides transport services for car owners, auto manufacturers, dealers, museums, auto auctions, concours, and racing events. Call us toll-free or visit our website. Donald, you're an authority on Bugattis, but you do so much more here at Competition Motors.
Yes, we do. And I'll give you a little bit of history as we go along.
Sounds good. What do we have here?
This is a 1929 Rolls-Royce Phantom 1 Ascot Tourer. Surprisingly enough, people don't realize that Rolls-Royce set up a depot in Springfield, Massachusetts in 1920. Rolls-Royces were also made in Springfield, Massachusetts until the early 30s. Interestingly enough, in that period, tires were probably the least dependable item on a car.
Now the magic question is, and everybody wants to know, what is a vehicle like this worth?
Today's market, probably in the $350,000 to $400,000 range, considering the condition and the rarity.
So Donald, now we're going to look at a pair of Rolls Royces. One's a 1926 over to our left, and the other one here's a 1924. Let's start off with the 26.
Sure. Now these are both Silver Ghosts, and a lot of people like the earlier cars even better than the upgraded Phantom 1. This car and the one beside it, the 26 and the 24, were both wholly made, manufactured in Springfield, Massachusetts. Rolls-Royce brought over its craftsmen, established a plant in Springfield to avoid the big import duties. So these cars are wholly made in America. They were very luxurious, very strong cars, and just extremely well-riding cars. When I was a very young man, in the early 70s, guys would come up to me and say, "Hey kid, you want to sell that car?" And I said, "Nah, I like it too much." "What are you going to do with it?" "Is it your father's?" I said, "No, it's my car, but I'm going to keep it." This is a 1925 Rolls-Royce Piccadilly Roadster. The engine again is a 7.3 liter, dual distributor, one running off a magneto and the other one running off a coil. Enormous torque, horsepower not terribly great, but again, a 65 mile an hour car. This Piccadilly Roadster has its own door for the rumble seat. One gets into the rumble seat this way, and this door latch opens up the back so you could stick 2-3 adults in the back of this car. But interestingly enough, they don't have to climb over the fenders, just climb up on the running board.
Now, Donald, I know you get real excited about this vehicle.
This is a very, very special car. It's a 1914 Rolls-Royce, and it has all the great things that Rolls-Royce collectors and enthusiasts want. First of all, it's pre-war, and in Rolls-Royce terms, that means it's prior to World War I. Secondly, it's an Alpine Eagle, which is the upgrade that Rolls-Royce did as a result of the 1913 Alpine Tour through the Alps. It has the larger brakes in the rear, it has a 4-speed gearbox, and it has a higher compression engine. And this car was ordered by a notable, by His Grace the Second Duke of Westminster. Upon delivery, the war had broken out, so the Duke had the car transshipped immediately to the Western Front in France. And we have some photographs of this car in the military service as a King's Messenger service car and also a staff car for the Duke of Westminster. And you'll find in the photographs, right in the back, under the tonneau, where the back seat is, was mounted a Colt manufactured Maxim water-cooled machine gun and a little bit of armor on the front of the dash, right below the windshield. And these were massive engines. There were 7.2 liter engines with a flathead 6-cylinder, 2 spark plugs per cylinder, running one on a trembler coil, which is right here, and the other running on a magneto. And when one considers that an armored car body on this probably weighed 2 tons, maybe more. And according to the book by S.C. Rolls, these things went across the desert at 60 miles an hour. And of course, the only thing that the car wasn't up to, I shouldn't say the car, was the tires. The tires took a wicked beating in the desert, because we all think of the desert as sand, but it wasn't. It was rubble, rocks, and stones.
Still ahead on Cruisin' New England. We'll be back right after this. Welcome to the Town Fair Tire Recognition Award Series. Each week we're going to be giving away an award to recognize a classic car owner throughout New England. I'm here with Jim Giuliano. He's the Vice President of Marketing and Advertising for Town Fair Tire.
Paul, Town Fair Tire is a proud sponsor of the Recognition Award Series. At the end of the series, we're going to have a Town Fair Tire Choice Award winner for the $500 gift certificate.
It's going to be very exciting. Jim, I'd like to introduce you to Joe Licciardello.
Joe, tell us a little bit about your car.
1957 Ford Fairlane 500 two-door hardtop with a modified T-Bird engine and interior.
Joe, it's a great looking car, and on behalf of Town Fair Tire, I'd like to present you with a trophy and a certificate.
Thank you.
Get to Town Fair Tire. You always get free mounting, free flat repair, free tire rotation, free snow tire changeover. Drive with confidence. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Town Fair Tire.
I'm back with Donald Coleman. He's the owner of Competition Motors in southern New Hampshire. And boy, you have a little bit of everything here.
We sure do. And the car we're sitting in is really an interesting car. This is the earliest car that we've ever had and the earliest car that we've worked on. We've done quite a bit of work on it. It's a 1904 Winton, and the first car manufactured by Winton was 1897. First American car, I should say. The engine is underneath the floorboards. It's a 2-cylinder opposed twin, 4.5 liters, runs between 20 and 30 horsepower, has a lot of torque. And if you notice, it doesn't have a gear shift. Instead of a gear shift, it has these levers, somewhat similar to a Model T Ford. And this smaller lever, forward is reverse, back is low. The bigger lever, forward is brake, back is high. Got a top speed of 38 to 40 miles an hour. My first car was a 1949 MGTC. It wasn't this one, but it was the same color scheme. And when we acquired this car, maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago, I had in my mind when we had time, we would restore it, and I'd use the same color scheme, the same materials as my first car. The MGTC is what brought European sports racing to America and all the early SCCA races across the country. Watkins Glen, Lime Rock, and so on. Now this is a 1954 Jaguar XK120M, or as some people would say, S for special equipment. And it was probably a breakthrough car for the first half of the 20th century, a real landmark car for its design, and also one of these cars with only a speck of modification, factory tuning, broke the world speed record for production car of this engine capacity, doing, I believe, 144 miles an hour.
What do we have here?
We have a 1936 Maserati Grand Prix car called a 6CM, 6 cylinders, monoposto. And this particular car has got a great history. It was one of the early factory team cars in 1936. Tremendous success in racing. And it's in here now because the owner had us check it over, but a fabulous, fabulous race car from that period of time. This is a 1939 or late 38 Maserati 6EM, similar to the red car, except it's a little bit later. The body style is evolved a little bit. And again, a Grand Prix car, 1500cc, supercharged. These are what we call Grand Prix cars. It was the Formula One of the era. This one is a 1930 Type 54 Bugatti Grand Prix car. And this car has the largest race car engine that Bugatti ever built. It's 5 liters, 325 horsepower, and this car could attain speeds 150 to 160 miles an hour.
Now, does that mean that this was the fastest car ever built for Bugatti?
No, it wasn't the fastest, but it was the largest engine capacity. Shortly after that, the Type 59 became available, and the 59, although it didn't have as large an engine, was even a faster car. Now, this car is a Type 35C Bugatti. It's a monoposto, meaning it's a single-seater. And it didn't leave the factory as a single-seater. It was modified later on by the owner, whose name was Chotard. Chotard, by the way, owned one of the Bugatti Atlantiques, which is still in existence today. Has a 2-liter supercharged engine capable of revving to over 6,000 RPMs. This is the large supercharger for the Type 35 series. A pop-off valve in case the engine backfired, it wouldn't turn the blades of the supercharger in reverse. They really swept racing in the mid-1920s for Bugatti. Very, very successful. The Type 35 series was about Bugatti's most successful race car, with the exception perhaps of the Type 51, which was very successful.
Still to come on Cruisin' New England.
Tired of waiting for delivery of your classic car parts? You need NPD. National Parts Depot continues to be the nation's leading source for quality restoration parts and supplies for Ford, Truck, Mustang, Camaro, Chevelle, and Firebird. With 4 strategically located superstores, you'll find everything you need shipped to your door within 1 to 3 business days. For your free catalog, visit NPD online or call toll-free. Don't be the last guy on the block to get your ride rolling. NPD takes the frustration out of restoration.
Cash for Gold, the place to sell your unwanted gold and diamonds. Where you sell your jewelry is as important as where you buy it. We at Cash for Gold are diamond and gold specialists. We will buy all size diamonds, gold chains, rings, bracelets, silver coins, and even broken jewelry. Often we pay 2 to 3 times higher than pawn shop prices. We also pay up to 90% of the daily price of both diamonds and gold. We are the original, authentic, family-run Cash for Gold and have been for more than 28 years. Visit us at 527 South Broadway, Route 28 in Salem, New Hampshire.
Building Maintenance Services. We've been servicing the Northeast since 1990. We service and repair revolving doors, automatic and handicap doors. We can help you design an attractive, efficient entrance you can be proud of. Protect your investment and secure your property with yearly maintenance contracts and 24-hour service. Whether an office, medical, or commercial high-rise, we'll get the job done right for you. Building Maintenance Services.
Would you like information about Cruisin New England Productions? Cruisin New England magazine has been the premier auto and events magazine for nearly 20 years. Cruisin New England Car Show series includes the Elite Dream Machines Rock and Roll Weekend at Mohegan Sun Casino, the Super Wheel Showdown on City Hall Plaza, Boston, and the Spooktacular Cruisin Classic. Or for personal appearances by Paul Manette or advertising on our television show, contact us at cruisenewengland@aol.com.
How did you develop a love for the Bugatti?
I was driving around Weston one day when I went to a garage to ask some directions, and it was King's Garage in Weston, Mass. And King's Garage had 2 Bugattis in the downstairs work area that belonged to a Colonel Felton. Those are the first Bugattis, race cars anyway, and they were early, mid-20s, that I had ever seen. And from that period on, I always thought about it and then had a real fascination for them. Even though they were fairly inexpensive compared to today, I still couldn't afford it as a student. So many years later, I really developed the interest and acquired my first Bugatti in 1984.
So Donald, this is the main showroom of your facility.
That's right.
And you know, I know you have a number of wonderful vehicles here, but you know what? This is the one I come to see.
This is the most special car of all the cars that we have. This is a Type 51 Bugatti built in 1932 by the factory for the factory race team. And in 1932 it was raced by Louis Chiron. He was also a French national champion. And from 1932 it then went to the next factory driver, which was Pierre Véron. And he raced it in the 1500cc class and raced it enormously successfully at the German Grand Prix at Avis. Adolf Hitler had appeared in 1933. He was in the stands, and as everybody seems to be aware of, he felt that the Germans were invincible, they were the Aryans, and they'd win everything. So in this first race, Grand Prix that he ever went to, the Frenchman, driving a French car, won. 1933, came back in 1934, and Pierre Véron won again in this car. So after that, Hitler decided that the government had to support the German manufacturers and the race car teams, and he poured enormous money into Mercedes-Benz and also into Auto Union. And it took a couple of years, but by the last years pre-war, 37, 38, 39, the German cars were invincible. They had so much development poured into them. And Bugatti, Alfa Romeo, which were great competitive race cars, sort of fell by the wayside. This is a Type 51 Grand Prix Bugatti engine. It ran with Louis Chiron as a 2.3 liter and Pierre Véron as a 1.5 liter. The only difference was the throw on the crankshaft. It's a twin cam, supercharged transfer case, magneto driven under here. And as a 1500cc with Pierre Véron driving, it made somewhere between 160 and 180 horsepower, which was absolutely phenomenal in that period for a 1500cc car. We believe that this is the single most winning Bugatti in the factory's racing history for a factory car. It has a list of 9 first places.
I had a great day here today in Southern New Hampshire with Donald Coleman, the owner of Competition Motors. I'm Paul Manette. Until next time, I'll be cruising New England.
Every week, Cruisin' New England takes you to some of the country's finest automobile collections, memorabilia, and collectibles. You'll see rare sports cars and classics, hot rods and muscle cars, and a lot more. If it drives, flies, or glides on rails, we'll take you there up close and personal on Cruisin' New England. Watch Cruisin' New England Saturdays and throughout the week on Nessun.